It shows as offline at this moment. Oh wait.
Yeah.
There
It's a little bit delayed, but and now it's showing your screen. Okay, let me just. The problem is I can't really use Discord while I'm doing that, but let's see what
you
we
don't
can.
have two screens.
Yeah, but the Discord full screen I can't really separate from the main Discord window. Let me experiment with that. It's just the warm-up phase anyhow. So
Just going to try it out. It's possible to get this to work.
yeah, how do you separate it though? Well, anyway, I will figure that out. So we are really trying to set this up. Oh. Well, it has to do for now. I don't see any other option for that. Maybe.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to still the same thing. Separate the screen share window from the Discord chat, so I can chat in Discord while I'm. But whatever, we will just use the Twitch chat. I just wanted to announce it.
Okay, can you see the Twitch chat anywhere?
Twitch chat, of course.
Okay.
Okay, so we still have 10 minutes. So let's just use that time to set stuff up. We have 3 viewers. I think that's you, me, and one other guy. Hi, one other guy.
Okay. Apparently you have a chaos launcher there as well. I was a bit confused for a moment.
Okay.
I didn't start that. You have version 4.1.2 use for API. So that's different.
Okay, just announced it on Twitter. I think, let me check something. No, we will have to do it without the Discord chat for now.
Okay.
Let me turn back the display cap.
So you don't get the split screen?
No. Anyway, this is just the first iteration of this. So what's your tech stack and what kind of IDEs and tools do you use? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, as you might have seen, I'm using macOS 10 for development. But I also have a Windows virtual machine here, VirtualBox, for the parts that you cannot do on macOS 10 itself, which are hard to do. So here I have, well, the source code, BananaBrain. And I use the Xcode IDE to edit it. Yeah, I can make a change here. So I change. And then I'm going to compile it here in the Windows virtual machine. They have a shared folder. So it will build now. So I'm calling Visual Studio from the command line.
And that's the bwapi.ini.
Yep. I have some settings here. It's for automated testing against the built-in AI of StarCraft. So if I press start here, then it will do that.
What kind of tests do you have?
The first test is testing against the built-in AI of StarCraft, which doesn't always work because Chaos Launcher can get some unstable sometimes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Just run it again, it will work now. It always fails the first time after I booted my virtual machine. It always does, consistently. So now it's automatically playing. It cycles through all the maps, and the opponent is always a randomly chosen race. It's not random, but randomly chosen.
Yeah,
my bot knows in advance.
Let me just enhance these statistics a little. What kind of stuff do you display on the screen? I guess these are mostly debug messages.
Yes, these are disabled in the well, on SSC AIT. There's a lot of text here. It measures time. It calculates income and spending. Supply both my own units and the units of the opponent. But of course, only the supply of the opponent is actually visible to me.
Why the big red dot?
The big red dot is the attack position. So currently my bot has that as an attack target. So the blue base is the opponent's base, where dots on. And my units will try to move to the red dot.
It's like
destroying everything.
It's like an attack move target, not the exact. So you're not trying to destroy the nexus, but destroy anything.
No. Units will react on what they meet in a way, and they might also not progress if they think they cannot win. So if the combat sim says, no, we're not strong enough, then the units will stop and move back and forth, actually, until there are enough units to win.
What are the orange rectangles?
The orange rectangles. Where do you see them?
Were everywhere, basically, but around the
all bases. These orange targets, well, one is a geyser, and the other ones are Well, if it wants to put buildings in a specific position, then it will use an orange triangle to mark that. And I believe this one here is for a pylon, and these are for photon cannons that defend the base.
So
of course, it will only do that if it actually builds a base at a position, but it pre-calculates those positions for all bases at the start of the game and draws them in debug mode.
So that's a base layout already planned?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, well, the orange color is also used for enemy buildings that are not visible at this moment, but are known to be there because I saw them at some point. So in the fog of war. But
interesting. And yeah, it's a little bit hard to follow the events because yeah, this is the fastest possible speed.
Of course.
How much FPS do you have?
Slow it down.
Oh, yeah, let's slow it down a bit.
FPS. It doesn't measure FPS. I have no idea. It just goes as fast as possible.
Yeah, but I usually put an FPS counter on the screen so I can get a measure of my bot's performance. And are those goons stuck on the ramp or below the ramp?
Only one. It doesn't want to move forward for some reason. And I'm not very sure why, because they're supposed to do that. Usually they refuse to move forward if there are too much enemy units up the ramp. But that's not the case now.
Nice retreating action, by the way. I like that they try to form a concave. Oh, hi, Dan. Dan has arrived.
Yes, I see. Yeah, there are more colored dots. The green dot is the position where units will be staged and where they will defend to.
Oh, we have with us in the viewers one of my dear friends, Chuvi, who is the author of the Undermined intro music. So, hello and thanks for your nice work.
Yes, hello.
And well, the official beginning of the broadcast is 5 o'clock. So let's just talk about nonsense in the meantime.
Oh, we didn't start yet, so we have to do it all again in a moment.
Yeah, of course. No, we are just setting up, so that's fine. Okay, I think this is a good enough arrangement. I mean, you have your desktop. I will just do the other arrangement.
Okay. Yes, indeed. That's probably because of the mural spot here. That it makes a stupid nexus. Yes.
Let me play the intro music that's exactly 1 minute long.
Okay.
I hope that it can be heard in the stream. I have no idea.
Okay. I don't hear the music.
Yeah,
it's on stream only, I guess.
Yeah. But according to Dan, the stream the music is on. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
And let's officially start then. So we are at the proposed beginning of the stream. Did you prepare anything you want to implement or show this time?
No, not really. I think just can look at something that I can build now. I can look on my long to-do list, but yeah, I thought it was just a bit of a tryout. So.
Yeah, I think we should just pick something that we want to accomplish and maybe try to do it.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, where is that to-do list? Oh, that's a quite extensive list.
Yes, of course. That's what you get from creating a brute for bot. Well, the items with the star are done, and the items with a minus are not done.
Investigate stuff, yeah. Okay, I see the lot of actual coding tasks, not really implementing anything as let's call them functional fixes.
Yeah, there are different kinds of things here on the list. Yes.
PVT Royal Stove strategy, I love it.
Royal Stove, that's still in the works. Well, I did do some work on it, maybe in a way that is not very conventional, because I'm adding Terran support to my bot, and I can do that for a bit. But it still has a lot of limitations. For example, there's some missing micro, so vultures can't place mines, and siege tanks cannot siege. And I'm still thinking of a way to implement that. So questions like when should a vulture place a mine, or when should a tank siege?
Oh yeah,
It's not easy decisions.
no, you see many games tanks constantly sieging and unsieging. So, well, do you want to pick one?
Sure.
Maybe something that can be implemented in a shorter time frame.
Okay, what kind of time frame should I be thinking about?
Well, I planned to run the broadcast at most until the SSCIT broadcast, but we don't have any kind of hard time limit from my side.
Okay.
So let's see, around 3 hours for me.
At most. Okay.
But yeah, if we run over, that's not a big deal. But that was the original plan. So improve reaction to FFA builds in PvP. Use Locutus to test. That sounds great. Forge fast expand, right?
Yes. Certainly yes.
And what's your bot's weakness to that, or why is your bot needs improvement in that area?
Well, I can look at some statistics, because I have also used SC Docker for testing against other bots. And if I do so, then it will create all kinds of result files. And I have tooling to analyze that. I can show you that. It's opened on the screen. One moment, please. Okay.
Is this generated by SC Docker, or is it your custom tool?
This is my custom tool, written in Java, and just outputs HTML based on the result files. And what it will do, it will simply count the wins, but also collect some other interesting information. Yeah, well, I tested only on one map, only on circuit breakers, so there will only be the 4 option of star positions, but it will also show each of the strategies of my bot and win percentages.
Awesome. So,
It shows lots of information. These are about win percentage against strategies recognized from the opponent. So these are not my strategies, but the results of my opponent model.
can we talk about your opponent modeling, maybe with coding examples?
Sure, but there was something that I wanted to show you on the reporting page.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, one moment, please. I can also single out one bot. And here it will show force fast expand. Well, apparently only 2 of 11 games I could win. But I have even more, because the opponents, of course, also write learning files. And that's why I chose to make tooling to make a cross table between my bot's strategies and those of the opponent. So here you can see that for Lucutus. And well, it says Steam Hammer because I have a tool for analyzing Steam Hammer files, but Locutus is based on Steam Hammer, so it has the same file format. Here you see my strategies, and here I see Locutus strategies. And in this table, I can easily see which strategies are strong against which one. So yes, here it shows the 2 games that I won against Force Expand of Locutus.
Oh, that's
And a lot of losses.
That looks awesome. I mean, you clearly put a lot of thought into this.
Yes, but not enough thought to win, unfortunately. But you'll have to do that. The numbers are there. And since Dan Gant is watching, I can also show this for Purple Wave.
And
analyze his files. You know, it was a bit confusing at first because he decided to do it upside down. So the last game is first in his file. I was at the beginning I was a bit confused, but then I looked at the timestamps. That's all. Okay, but this is a run against Purple Wave, and as you can see, it went quite nicely. But how nice this goes is, yeah, well, it has a random component to it, because Purple Wave has this strategy, the 2-gate 10-12 Dark Templars, and it is too strong for my bot to beat. But as you can see here, it tried it 2 times, and my bot was lucky to win. And because of that, Purple Wave decided to try other strategies. So that's what makes it so random, because I would have lost the first 2 games, then it will probably keep on trying that opener and found out that it could win.
Excuse me, I have to configure Discord for a moment. I will perform a highly advanced effect until then. Yeah.
You're back? Okay.
No. You can see it on the stream. It's yeah. as I saw. It's yeah. It's futuristic technology. I need to mute my Discord and stuff. Excuse me, sir, for the disturbance. Okay, now we are back, and I hope we will have no more interruptions. So, what I'm really curious about, how did you code the opponent strategy recognition? Just based on the scouting information? And how error prone is that?
I think very error prone, because it can miss something. Well, yeah, this is the opponent model source. And I wonder if it is still readable when we stream it.
I think it is.
Like, the code is readable. I think we're streaming in HD, or same resolution. Okay, it's readable. Nice. Yeah, this is just for, well, you can see what kind of different strategies it can recognize.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are here. This is just to convert an enumeration into a string. So it can be stored on file or shown in the debug screen. Yeah, there are a lot of different ways that it uses to recognize a build. Do we have one here that I could use? One that's easy to explain. Yeah, well, it did not work on this for some time. So I have to look where all the code is. Okay, well, here we have a block of code that detects a build order used by the protons. And for that, it will look at two things. It will count the number of buildings. For example, it will count the number of gateways. But it will also take into account the starting frame of that the building started. So what it will essentially do, if it sees an unfinished building, a building that's still warping in, then it will take the number of health points that the building has and use that to estimate the starting time of the building. So what you will see here, it will distinguish a gateway for 99 gateway and a later gateway, 1012. It will distinguish those.
Wow.
So it can see if it's like a 99 gate or a 1012 gate.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I really like that logic.
And it becomes a bit more complicated if you want to detect one gate core, because maybe it sees the cybernetics core and or the simulator, and then it's clear. But you might miss it. So at some point, if it sees the first gateway and the opponent makes 1 or 2 zealots, and it will not get to see the cybernetics core, then after some time it will conclude, okay, I didn't see that, so it must be 1 gate core. But then the detection will be a bit slower. Yeah.
So obviously this is kind of hard coded, which is a strong word to say here, because you clearly put a lot of effort into this. But
No neural nets. No.
Do you plan some kind of configurable properties for this? Because at some point this is easily seems easily scriptable, and maybe you can extend this via config files.
Okay, I never thought of that. No, I thought since the possibilities you have are somewhat limited, and well, this game already exists for like 20 years, so I thought it would not be that necessary to do that. It has some constants here for frame counts. This is the frame that it expects to see something, but no real configurability.
Yeah, but that's like minimum frames, right? Or how does this work?
Like as estimated, because if you do a 99, then the gateway should approximately always not be there at the same time, unless you did not perform the opening well. So I think this is somewhat so much standardized that I do not really need the configuration possibilities for that. That was my choice here.
And I can understand that, and that's like would be an entire new submodule. But this is similar to executing build orders, as you kind of have a finite set of variables that you can work with. But yeah, all right. So can we talk about your scouting and such methods? How do you scout?
yeah, well, scouting and the opponent model are obviously connected to each other, because at some time, let's say if the opponent does a proxy gate or a fast expand, this can be difficult to see the difference between them. But because the opponent model will say, well, I see a nexus, but I don't see anything else. So it will tell the scouting worker to go to the natural, because it does not see anything there. And I have some scouting code here. This is the code that controls the worker.
How many lines of code is your bot approximately?
Good question. I don't know. Okay, about between 18 and 19,000. Yes, that's the amount of lines. And that excludes the Brutoir Easy Map library. They also have a source base.
Still a tremendous amount of work. Although lines of code is not really a good metric for anything, but yeah, it'd be a lot of code, man. Scout worker order.
Yeah, each worker has a current order, and one worker gets a scout order, and it will then execute this code, which consists of certain modes. The first mode is search base. Dus this is the mode that it will immediately be in if it starts. At that moment, the bot does not know where the base of the opponent is, so it will go through all the bases.
In the meantime,
close to farm. In the meantime,
Jägers is asking if you develop on Mac or is this only for presentation?
It's actually both. Well, I showed it in the beginning, but not everybody was already on the chat at that moment. But I actually code here, in Xcode on Mac. But I do not use Visual Studio on Mac. I have Visual Studio here, or at least the command line version. So I simply enter build, and then it will build. Well, now nothing changed, but yes, I have a shared folder from my Mac to Windows, so it can access my code. And from here, I can launch Chaos Launcher for testing against the built-in AI. And I can hear from the command line on macOS 10, I have SC-Docker installed. And then after compiling, I can just run SC-Docker and test it against bots on the ladder, or any of the other bots that I installed in my bots folder on macOS 10. So it's a bit of a hybrid setup between two operating systems, where I try to do as much as possible under macOS 10.
Do you only use workers for scouting? Yeah.
At this moment, I think I should answer yes, indeed, because as far as I know, the only unit that's typically used for scouting is an Overlord. But Zerg support is not yet there in BananaBrain. It's best with Protoss and has a bit of somewhat. It can play a bit of Terran, but it misses a lot of features there. It doesn't have that much build, and no Zerg yet. And I'm planning to add that at some point.
And you use BWEM, right?
Yeah. Well, a heavily modified version at this point. Because some maps just crashed, or some weird stuff happens at some point.
So that means that you know the map starting locations. So I assume that,
yes.
For example, on the 4-player map, if you scout 2, then you don't need to scout the turret to actually know that the enemy is there. Or do you have some kind of early rush strategies that exploit that?
Yes, I use that. For example, the proxy gate. But yes, the bot is able to know where the opponent is if it scouted every position except for one. And that is indeed necessary when doing it.
Okay, awesome. I think let's just go back to the to-do list, pick something and implement it. What do you say?
Yes, I would love to, but it seems that most of the things here are so maybe
we don't need to
something easy.
Don't need to
have a few hours,
it.
Of course. Don't need to finish it. But really, what is important at this moment?
Rivers in shuttles.
River and shuttles, not easy.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
How do you group your units? How do you group your attacking groups or squads?
Well, they don't really group. What they do is when they get the order to attack a target, they will move toward the target. But if the combat sim says they cannot win, they will move back. And the other units that attack will also move towards the target. And at some point they will hopefully join. But it does not actually join them. So in theory, it's possible that one half of the attack force is in one place and the other is at another place. They will both be at the same distance of the enemy, but they will not be. They will not necessarily be in the same place. I was thinking of a way how can I show that.
So every unit is independent.
Yes, every unit works independently, but the decision making about when to attack and defend is made based on, well, the whole picture.
Okay, can you dig up that code for us?
It is in the tactics manager.
Do you have maybe some kind of architecture display or chart, or you just know it?
No, I just know it. Yes, indeed. That's the way I work.
Expect win.
Expect win. Yes, very important. And you can also see it's based on a unit base. It takes a unit as parameter. That is a friendly unit that it takes. And it will calculate it for that specific unit, because if a unit is very far away from that's the logic. If the unit is for example, it's a carrier and the opponent has 100 supplies of siege tanks, then it will still let it attack because a carrier cannot be harmed by siege tanks. But otherwise it will take it as an air as a ground unit. It's a ground unit. Then it will look at the supply ground units of the opponent to see if it can win.
To be honest, I'm a little bit lost. When do you call this expect win method? And so every unit evaluates if he can win when?
Yeah, well, each unit will be controlled independently, and each unit will calculate this one, and it will also calculate this one. And in front means that it is close to the enemy, because if it is not close to the enemy, it may be the case that it cannot win. But if the global combat sim says that that winning is possible, then it will move towards the enemy because it is not yet close to the enemy, so it could move closer.
How do you calculate that? So you work with something called the front, which is presumably the hot combat zone.
Yeah, and it will do that right here.
And
well, the first thing we need to know for this is the so-called engagement distance. And the engagement distance is a distance in pixels that tells me how much pixels the opponent has to move towards us to be able to attack us. So if the engagement distance is 0, that means that the enemy can attack the unit. At least one enemy unit can attack the unit. Negative values don't occur. It becomes 0 if the enemy can attack us. But if it's a larger number, then it will then it's not yet under attack, but it might be close to. And it will sort all friendly units based on the engagement distance. So the closest units will be first. And it will start at the beginning, at the closest units, and it will move forward until some kind of boundary is reached. And the boundary will start at 64. And it will, for each unit that is actually in the front, it will add 32. So that means that if the army is bigger, then also more units can be in the front. Unfortunately, the way I implemented it now will lead to a line of units instead of all units catching up to the front. So one of my plans was proving this and make a better measure for deciding for a unit if it should advance to the front or stay where it is. So that's what you see in BananaBrain games. You will see that if the units are weaving back and forth, they will usually do this in a line instead of being clustered together. So that's something that I probably should still work on.
And I see you have a run by logic a little bit lower. I don't exactly recall BananaBrain.
Where do you see run by?
In the enemy cluster calculate defense supply, there is a run by possible.
Run by possible, yes, indeed. It uses that to influence the win of the calculations of when we can attack and when not. Because if the opponent has 2 photon cannons, then they might have a certain strength. But if I think I can do a run by on those, then I will just reduce the strength calculation of those cannons. And then the local simulation will think, well, I can win, so I will press forward. And there is some other logic that decides that the units will not attack the photon cannons, but instead do a move command towards the enemy base. So in that way, we actually get a rundown.
Defense supply. Do you like this army supply, defense supply values? Are those just integers? Yeah, those are just integers.
Yes. They are simply the supply count of the units. So that's how the combat sim actually works. It just looks at supply counts. And for certain units that do not have, buildings that do not have supply counts, it has some fictional values. So here you can see it will assign 3 to a photon cannon. But if we think we can run by it, it will get only 1 point. Because, well, it will do some damage while we're moving along it, moving past it. But it's not as strong as usually in that case, because we will run by it. And it also will make a siege tank that's in siege mode, and will give it a higher supply score than usual. So these 2 is in addition to what it has by default. The 2 it already has by default, so it will be 4 supply in total.
But these are essentially magic numbers, so you assigned those manually, right? Have you thought about optimizing them out via some learning or maybe game analyzing?
I thought of it, but it is most likely not what I'm going to do. Because probably I'm going to calculate something like unit strengths based on their characteristics, such as HP, speed, amount of damage that they do. And that means that at some point I will make a different combat sim. That's not as simple as this one. That's only supply based. But that is actually capable of seeing from that unit is strong against that one.
But this works surprisingly well.
Yes, it does quite nicely. At this moment, I do not know what the Protoss bots that are stronger than me do. They have probably some more advanced simulator, but if you want to get started with Combat Sim and you want something that is very fast to calculate, then this works.
Yeah.
And you can, of course, improve it later on if you want to.
Can you show us how do you test your bot out? You mentioned that you have other bots and you run tests versus them. Can we see one of those tests?
Yes, but what can we see on that? I'm starting another IDE now because I also use some Java, as I already mentioned with the reports and stuff. I also have a Java program that is capable of taking a list of games, a list of 2 bot pairs, and just run them using SEDoc.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, for example, Steam Hammer. Can we do another one? Computers. I think 2 games is enough because we don't want to take all night. Letting it create a file. You can now see what it created. Well, I asked it to play against Team Hammer and Locutus. Also, Dev is the name of my bot of the development version. Because if I would enter here BananaBrain here, then it would take the current version from SSC AIT and not the development version. So I have added this manually to my SC Docker. As you can see here. Yes, I'm going to purge clear all results.
Do we have a replay file?
There will be a replay file, and that's the only thing I really get, apart from the reports, of course. Well, I made this file. Now I'm just going to run it. And then I will do the, oh. Well, first I must do this. This will copy the current DLL that the build tools made into SC Docker, in the SC Docker folder. If I forget this, then it will not run the current version, but not the old. It is all command line, and it will show what is running. Since I have enough cores in my machine, I can play 2 games at once. So now 2 SC Docker instances are running at the same time. And one is playing versus Team Hammer and another versus Locutus. And well, then we wait.
Serious business.
But I also have, this is a bit of an ad hoc test. So actually testing against 2 opponents that I manually picked. But I also have a standardized regression test, which I can also start with a few, with 2 commands. One to set it up and one to run it. And then it will run tests against a lot of opponents.
What does it test?
simply plays games. It doesn't test anything in particular, except for that I get reports. And this is the report of the, I already showed it, but this is the report of the last regression test. These opponents I test against. Some less strong bots, of course, but also Purple Wave, of course. Qt at the bottom. And this allows me to see whether or not I broke something. The regression test is something standard. It doesn't test anything in particular. It just tests that I did not break something. Because if I would suddenly see very low win percentages somewhere, then I need to investigate.
So don't have crash logs or something, or do you have some alarms going off when your bot is crashing?
No, but I do have some instrumentation that writes some logging, and the logging is mainly about performance, but the program that processes that output is also capable of showing the crashes. But crashes do not occur a lot in BananaBrain. And if I have a crash, then I need to look at manually. So games folder, open the game, look in the crashes folder. It is currently, that part is manual. But I did have at some point, it happened that I made some mistake. I broke something and it crashed a lot. And I found out during the regression test, and that version of the bot never went online, luckily, because it was caught by the regression test. And we cannot see it yet because it is still playing the first 2 games. But at some point, the games will succeed, and then it will add here in this file the result of the game, which one won, and the code of the game. So I can look it up in the games folder. Like the hex code of the game, which is like this. And if in the log the letter E appears instead of the winner of the game, then it's an error. And then I need to investigate, and it could be a crash. But it does not necessarily have to be my crash. Sometimes some opponent bots seem to crash. Iron bots sometimes.
The whole setup seems very well
Well,
thought
here
out.
it's the first game. Unfortunately, I lost. But that unfortunately happens more often against recruiters.
Let's check out the replay. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, replay. Well, I have here this code. And here is the replay.
So that means when you're developing your bot, you don't really look at individual replays. You mainly look at win rates, right?
Yes.
Well, folks, that's how a top bot development looks like.
Not while I was developing the run by feature, I was testing versus specific bots. And I also used my debug file to tell my bot to use a specific strategy. Because normally it would just use some algorithm, the USB1 algorithm, to choose one. But if not, then I can choose manually. And usually I watch every game then because I'm looking for something specific. But during a regression test, that's 1,000 games that run in 48 hours, and that's way too much to watch. So I only watch if I see something interesting in the logs. So not every game I can do that.
Proxy 2-gate, it seems.
This is, apparently the computers can hold this easily.
Can you slow it down a bit?
Oh yeah, this is a habit of mine. I usually watch at 1 time. But that's of course not the way that someone...
let's have some entertainment value. It seemed to me
that... this game now?
Yeah, of course. And so it seemed to me that you made a lot of zealots and they ran into the cannons, then they changed their minds. and that's
Yeah.
that's not very healthy on the long term. And Locutus is getting the better of you in the unit micro.
Yeah. I wonder what kind of build did Locutus. And luckily we have the answer to that. Or should have to. Why is there no...
Yeah, let's double check
build
that.
file. It did make it for some reason.
Oh, no.
I wonder why not. Usually it should do that. But there's no report for the tutors now. Then we have to look it up manually in its file. But apparently it was the Zello drop.
Yeah?
And that's a bit disappointing because it should have done a run by. Apparently it didn't. Let's take a look why not.
Wait, I'm a little bit confused. Zella drop is the strategy that is executed by Locutus according to
Locutus
your
is
unit?
strategy.
Okay. Just to be clear.
Yes. And my bot strategy is the 9 proxy game. But apparently it does not want to. It doesn't want to run by. And then you always have the question why not? Or no, now it wants to run because now it has 3 cells. So
they did run by.
This is very nice.
Yeah.
This is what should happen. This is one of my new features that I implemented. So why did not we not win?
That's why are they retreating?
Because the cells are stupid. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, this is something you have to go through a lot of times. Watch my boss do stupid things. It's unfortunate.
Can we look at the code? Maybe we can fix this in this stream or do it better.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't know how. Because the logic behind this is quite complicated because it can be it could be that they are sent back because of the global combat sim, or maybe it is because of the maybe it's something else.
We can do a little bit of rubber ducking. So
maybe they think they reach now. Well, they did not reach that goal. Close. They probably do not think the run by is over. But the disadvantage of this is that we cannot see debug info. But I can only get the debug info. No, that's not true. We can run SC Docker in interactive mode. So we just quit this because no use in it. It's apparently 1 versus Team Hammer, which is nice. But it lost the second game versus Locutus as well. Yes, I made Locutus mod, which is a modified version of Locutus. There is actually only one modification in that. And the modification is that I changed its configuration file. Look at it now. Change the configuration file so it only does one opening against Protoss. Yes. The Zell drop now has a weight of 100. That's my change. So essentially, I use this to force to play Zell drop for testing purposes. Now, it should be possible to play a game against Locutus mod. So it will do that strategy again. The only thing we have to change now is that my bot must also be forced to do the proxy gating. We're not going to see it. So I enable the proxy gate here in PvP. And hopefully this works.
And
And then I will Ctrl C because I forgot another setting. Of course, we must set the debug output to true. Otherwise, we're not going to see anything except for the game itself.
Yeah, that's helpful.
This is the reality of development.
Of Of course, mostly development is not that exciting to watch if you're not talking actively or not explaining what you do.
Yes, exactly. That's why we have. Of course, I do not talk in myself when I'm coding.
Cursing silently.
Oh, cursing. There's some cursing. Yes, but not when there is anyone listening.
Yeah, sometimes I talk to myself while coding as well.
So we're going to circuit breaker. Speed has to be set to be normal, otherwise we don't get the right LF setting, the right latency frame setting. And let's go.
Locutus has joined the game.
Yes. Locutus is slow to start up. Oh, okay. There it goes.
And is the user input enabled? So can you screw around with your robot?
Can't do anything right now except for scroll. Oh, the probe is already going. Well, I can select things and do this.
It's the same map, right, as before?
Okay. You will see all kinds of orange rectangles, and it is to mark the building placement or the proxy.
Yeah, but some of those rectangles are overlapping. Why is that?
Well, the code that places the proxy does not care about the base define because it is not my base anyway. So why would I care about canon positions for the base? I'm not going to take it as a base.
Oh, I see. So those are all the
Just ignores
possible,
those.
all the possible placements, and
Yeah,
you
could make it so it only draws those bases to plan on.
I see. I thought that's a planned base layout that will be followed exactly, but those are just possible positions. I see. What is that black square, by the way?
It's information about the enemy cluster. So it gives the enemy cluster a score of 6, and that is 2 photon cannons. That's 6. And it always is placed at the center of the cluster, of the center of all the units in the cluster. It shows a blue dot. That means run by. The blue dot is the run by target.
And we have
the
run
blue
by.
circle around the zealots means that that unit is taking part in the run by.
It's interesting
Well,
that some zealots are fighting, some probes are fighting back, but not all of them. And it seemed to me not just the one that you were attacking.
Yes. Well, it's over already. It went too fast.
Well,
In this case, only 1 zealot got in, not 2.
There are a squad of zealoty boys just on the way.
But I did not retreat incorrectly. But I don't think they're gonna do a run by because now there are 2.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that retreat was painful.
Just going to stop this.
Okay.
We failed to learn what we wanted to know. No. This is also something that can be time consuming. Getting the game in the right state. It is very difficult. And I already am capable of choosing the strategies that both bots will take. Otherwise, it would take even more time. And I would like to show both players, if possible. That would also be nice. Then we get 2 windows.
And you have
One
to keep
for my window. No.
You have to keep in mind that this is very very streamlined development that you do here. So if you're just starting out, this is really this will seem really fast.
Yeah. Well, the point is, in the beginning development, it was very easy to develop because every change was immediately visible. For example, if it in the beginning I did not have any micro for units at all, and then I made something like attack the closest target, and then the units will attack, and you can see quite fast that they attack. I don't know why this is going wrong. It cannot see most of the maps. This is really weird. It only sees brute war maps. Of StarCraft maps, not brute war maps. I think something went wrong.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. I have to do something else now.
Okay.
I will just try one more time. Because we're not going to play StarCraft. We're going to play brute war.
Yeah, random errors occur in brute war all the time, so that's not even surprising.
Yes, but it is a bit of a weird way of controlling the brute war. I believe it's just sending clicks to it and key presses and stuff. So I could imagine that's a bit iffy. It goes wrong sometimes.
Okay, now we have a different starting position.
Yeah. For both players, yes. So it will also build the proxy in a different place. I think it will be somewhere here. Yeah. Oh. And unfortunately this happens. If I move the cursor out of the window, then it will scroll to one corner like an idiot. That is very unfortunate.
I think this game wasn't meant to use this way ever. How do you know that Locutus is there? I didn't see. Oh, or is this a 2-player map? Or no, this is a 4-player map, right?
It doesn't know that. This is just its default proxy position.
Okay.
It tries to find a usable position that is close to every position where the opponent could be. Apparently this is the optimum.
Okay.
Only now it scouts the opponent. Because this showing two windows is just not working at all. If I
Okay.
the mouse from it, then it is going away. And it's also a bit slow.
Let's not do
Maybe I
it
should
then.
just disconnect. It's bad. Okay.
But this one is
Now
still
it's
running.
going to run by again. Can I do this? Speed 100. That works. It's going slower now, but you can actually see what's happening. They are going for it. Yes, the run by started. Hoping sellers will survive this time. There's a probe blocking the
We
path.
have 2
That's
cannons and one already lost, and one that already
nice.
lost.
Okay.
And the second one attacking? I can't actually see if it's attacking anything.
But apparently, because its path was blocked by a probe, it decided to abort. And just attack the probe instead.
But did it attack the probe?
I can imagine that.
No,
I'm not sure.
But the probe was not damaged. That's why I think it just stopped there. Or maybe it attacked the cannon, but you selected the probe
very nice.
And yeah, that's quite rude.
I hope we have the replay now.
Yeah, let's see the replay. I'm curious about this now. We might have just uncovered the bug here.
Unfortunately, no replay. Shit.
Yeah.
I think I closed the application.
Oh.
That's too bad. So you could take a look at the micro. What's it going to do when it meets a unit?
Yeah, let's analyze the macro. What does Zeller do when it is doing runby? Let's pull that up.
So, look. This is the method. Move with blockade breaking. What it actually do is will move to a target, but if it can't get there because being blocked, then it will attack, or should at least attack, unit that is blocking it. Maybe here something goes wrong.
Maybe the problem was that the movement, it didn't detect it as blocked. Like it thought that, okay, I have a pet.
Yeah, and just gave it a move command. Yeah, well, I had some trouble with this before, but it uses some pathing here. It creates a grid, tries to find the path to a place that is closer to the target than the current position, and then it will if it finds a suitable position, then it should use a move, and if not, it will try to attack one of the units that's in the way.
Current position. I'm looking at the queue that you have.
Yeah.
Fast position. What is fast position?
That is a class that does the same thing as position, but it moves some, well, usually the normal position class, some problems in its constructor, making it very slow. So if I need to do pathing in a tight loop, then I use my own class fast position instead.
Can we look inside that class? What was the problem? I'm curious about this.
It is well, this is fast position. There's nothing really to see here because it works completely normally. But the normal position class has some constructors to create the object from the other position types, such as block position and tile position, and then it automatically determines by which value it has to multiply or divide it. And it uses some complicated template logic to do that. And apparently that template logic creates some inefficient code in Visual Studio. So that's why I made a more simple class, which should not have that problem.
Do you think this change can be migrated to BW API, or is that not really possible?
I would expect to, but I'm not fully sure about this. If we can well, we can of course change the standard position classes, point classes, to use manual multiplications like this instead of using the template magic.
But you
this might not be binary compatible.
So if you
Sure.
found that this is slow, that means that you had a performance bottleneck at some time, right?
Yes, and apparently I still have. But in the beginning it was very bad. I never noticed this. Bazel doesn't calculate it that way. Doesn't do it per frame, but if you look at results, third place after rerun, which is very nice. But I still had 80 frame time, which is not as much as some, but it's still too much, I think. And it is probably caused by pathing. As soon as I added pathing, everything became slower. But it is not. I'm not sure if this is still a problem, because a particular pathing bug in my AI IDE version, which I resolved at this point. But I don't know. I still have to run my bot with performance measuring instrumentation, so I can see if it's being too slow or if I already resolved the problem.
Okay, in the meantime, I need a quick 2-minute break, but feel free to keep talking.
Okay, but I
should
also
we?
need a break actually,
Okay.
because it's getting dark here, and I want to put on a light.
All right, then.
And a toilet break. So can you place a nice? Yeah. Yes. Nice.
Okay, I'm back. And there is still something going on in the background. Okay. So, can we continue?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I was thinking about what kind of pathfinding do you have for your units?
Yes. The micro.
Can you show and tell?
I can most definitely show. Move save. Yeah. Well, a very simple method. Move save unit to a target position.
Move save. It's a funny method name.
Yeah. What it essentially does is it will move this unit to the, well, at least it tries to move the unit to the target position without it being under attack. And it uses some grids because, well, you cannot make a bot with grids, I think. At least not a high level one. So
how does that work? What kind of grid resolution do you use?
tile. Because, well, it's already slow enough. So it has a few methods. It can tell you for each position if there is a ground threat or an air threat. For each tile position, again, we have false positions here, but I already explained why. And you have the components. And what a component does, it will calculate components for all threat-free regions. So if two tile positions have the same component number, then you know that they are reachable from each other. And if they do not have, then are not reachable.
So
it connects it connects neighboring safe spaces.
So that means that that air threat and ground threat is binary, so it's either threatened or not, and not enumerated further. So you don't have a difficulty or a value assigned to the threat. Don't have a threat level per tile or something like that.
No, it's Boolean. At least not at this moment. At some point I might need that, but well, no.
Because yeah, it's not well, it's very different of what kind of unit threatens that position.
No, you can't find this out from here. You can also not know how much damage you can expect if you decide to move through that space anyway.
Alright, and what kind of pathfinding do you use?
Well, what you have below here, at first it checks the components. If that check is successful, it's a theta star algorithm. And what that does, it is a bit of a variant of an A-star algorithm. And it is capable of making diagonal. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to explain, I think.
Okay,
because the code is not that easy, but what it does is it maintains a queue of positions. It will try to move to the next position that seems to be closest to the target. And if it has a path of positions, such as one up and one to the right, then it will use the line of sight method, which is called in various positions, I believe. Let me look for it. Where it is? Line of sight. It will make a diagonal line from the A to B and see if that's also possible. And if yes, then it will take a diagonal step. This also works for larger diagonal steps. For example, if you can go 10 tiles up and then 3 to the right, then it will also use this to draw a line, try to draw a line. And if that works, then it will take the short route. So this is used to get the optimal path, shortest path.
So you use a priority queue, it seems, and you put the next positions, next target positions. And what kind of heuristic do you have for evaluating the next step? Is just based on proximity or ground move distance or something like that?
Yeah, or just distance to the direct distance to the end position.
Yeah, I see the getApprox distance method here. That's should be it, right?
Yeah, here.
Well,
positions.
Probably you got asked before, but have you thought about implementing jump point search?
Nobody asked me before, except that I asked this to myself, but I never got around to it. Maybe it's a good idea because of my performance issues, even though I do not know how bad it is.
jump point search seems to be faster. If you remember, I wrote a few articles about that, and it seemed to me that A-star is okay, but it is usually costly, and GPS is just better. So I would recommend it.
Okay.
Although you still have to, it's a little bit harder to implement, and you have to choose your data structures well, but usually it's worth it. I see something here. Replace is stasis by is disabled where applicable. What's the reasoning behind that point?
Okay. My to-do list just got long.
Sorry, we tried to cross off something from your to-do list and achieve the exact opposite.
Okay, but you were asking something about? I was typing something, so I missed you.
Yeah, in your to-do list, there was a point that replace is stasised with it is disabled. What's the reasoning behind that?
I'll go back to it.
Okay.
1 moment, please. It's now opening the file, I hope. Yeah? Okay, it was at the bottom, probably.
Yeah, nearly. I think it was kind of the middle, but I don't know. Yep, that is it.
Okay. For that, I need to show what the method is the same. It's a util method. Where is it? Is it in here? I hope so. Is disabled. Yep.
Oh, I see. I thought the is disabled is a Broodwar API call. Then, yeah, of course. This makes sense now. Although this seems to be error prone for me because if it's locked down, then you can damage it.
Yes, that's why I also mentioned here in my to-do where applicable. So I should think really hard whether or not it should be done. For example, if it's my own unit and I'm doing strength calculation, well, a lockdown or maelstrom unit is not going to do anything for me. So I shouldn't count it then. But otherwise, if I want to know, can I hit this unit? Well, if it's stasis, then no. But if it's locked down or maelstrom, then yes, of course. I should, probably, because now I have the chance to catch it before it gets away. So I have to do this at some point. Yeah, probably not now. Okay, did you have anything?
Well, no, that kind of answers my question. Where we were discussing pathfinding, I guess, and well, we discussed that quite enough. What should we do next?
We didn't do it really yet, but I want to do some coding. And I thought I had a good idea, because I already told that I recently the Terran base to my bot. But maybe I could also try to add a Zerg to the bot.
Yeah, let's do that.
In 1 hour and 3 parters, because that's what we have.
Well,
would it be possible?
One way to find out.
Okay. Yeah. I think it starts at making a new class. We have here a generic strategy class used by all strategies. We have proton strategy, which is quite long because it has a lot of proton strategy. It has Terran strategy, but not as much. Let's make Zerg strategy then.
In the meantime, random people are popping in on Twitch, which is okay. Yeah. Welcome, dear random people. I'm just a little bit surprised by it.
Yes.
But we are a friendly bunch, and welcome everyone. So, what do we have here?
Just having, well, let's only do, in the beginning, only do 4 pools, because making that will be enough work.
Yeah, let's do a 4-pool bot. There are not enough 4-pool bots already. But
I could add another strategy.
yeah.
But 4-pool is nice to begin with. Only
As
it
an
appears that 5-pool is more efficient against Terrans. Do 5-pool against Terrans. I have some experience making 4-pool bots. This is my first bot that I ever made. Never uploaded it.
Almost everyone has. For the exact same reason.
It was very fast. Never had performance problems. It just almost didn't do anything.
You can't improve perfection. That's the truth.
Maybe you can add some smart circuit.
Definitely.
Okay. Versus random. I don't like random anyway, so. Unfortunately, we have to deal with some boilerplate. It only happens when you add a race, which doesn't happen that often, only twice. After the first one, of course.
Yeah, there is a finite amount of times you can do that. So yeah. What are we seeing here?
The Zerg strategy class. With these are the identification. They also always have a name, so I make a string constant for them. Quite standard is the big strategy method, because the parent of the class, the Zerg strategy class, inherits this strategy, and that means that it has to implement some methods. So I have to add them. No choice in that. That's just how my bot works. Well, while we're doing this, I can mention a little secret about the beginning, because my bot started development. Look at it here. This is the random bot. That was my bot as it started. And at some point, I wanted to upload it to the ladder. And I thought, well, it doesn't play each race as well as the other. It is best at Protoss. So I chose to upload it as BananaBrain, as a Protoss. But it's still the very first version that was uploaded to StarCraft AI was a bot that could play all 3 races.
But not very well.
No, it was kind of decent at Terran, but also not too well, because I did not bother to use some abilities. It used a mech build, but it did not support spider mines, and also it didn't support siege mode, so it was a bit weird. So I thought, no, I don't upload Protoss. At a later moment, I decided to remove the capability for the other races, because it was I had the idea it was holding me back in development, because every time I changed something, I had to test 3 races, and I had to make sure that everything compiled and nothing broke. Actually, the Zerg was already broken at that point, I believe. At the very least, it could not defeat the built-in AI, so that did not give me the impression it was very strong. But now I'm re-adding it, essentially.
We have come full circle.
Yeah. Especially if I now add successfully. I believe some of the stronger bots already are capable of playing all 3 races. Although not every race as strong as the other. I know Purple Wave does. Also McRave, of course. And Grazio can play at least 2 of them.
Yeah, I think Purple Wave plays all 3 races and uploaded the different versions to the ladder.
Yeah.
Do you think we can do this just by basically calling existing methods?
A lot of it is already in the bot. So we don't have to program circling micro, because circlings will get the same micro as Xenons. Also the mechanism scouting and knowing where to attack. Well, at least worker scouting is there, but you do not generally scout with workers in a form pool, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, to be honest, I have no idea how much time this would take. So I just get started, and then we will see how far we can go with this.
Yeah, let's just make 4 Zerglings, or make any amount of Zerglings, and scout with them. Let's let that be the first milestone.
Let's tell it to play Zerg, to get going. Race 0. I can start it now, but guess what will happen?
Yeah, I'm very curious.
This
Probably
bot
nothing.
plays Protoss Terran.
That was quick. So, first of all, the stupid crabs don't seem to be mining.
No, because my bot completely refuses to start. Because it says, well, I can't do this. It's not confident enough.
Your bot literally can't even right now.
Yes. Okay. I still have to think of what I will name my, because I think it might be I could use BananaBrain T and BananaBrain Z, but that would be kind of lame.
Yeah.
Maybe I could think of something better. Let's implement the methods.
Banana crab sounds nice. I think that's an actual animal.
Or crab brain.
Yeah, that's good too.
You could use the brain as the cycle, or just something completely different. Like Jumpy Dog. Oh no, wait, that's already.
Yeah, no, that's copyrighted.
Nah, let's take a look at one of the other classes.
But you can name it Hover Crab Brain.
Hover Crab. Yes. Just doing some copy pasting for my own code. Just keep it simple. Do not invoke the USB1 algorithm. If it's Terran, okay, no, switch. You need to switch. It's going to use.
Yeah, but we have only one and only strategy now. The glorious 4 pool.
5 pool. You can also do that.
Or even 5 pool. Well, according to my testing, you can make a drone without any repercussions while your spawning pool is building. So
yeah. Okay. Then we have mode. Only opening will be enough. And we already have all these other. And I need to implement the strategies I named, even though they're not going to do anything.
Got to do it properly. You're not really a fan of quick and dirty hard coding, I see, or just not on stream.
What? Quick and dirty hard coding?
I mean, sometimes when I want to test something out, I don't bother with any kind of class or proper variable naming, because I know I will use it exactly once. So
true, but I also want to use this.
Yeah.
I want to actually add Zurk to my bot. So it has to at least have some reusability.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I'm
not planning on throwing it all away after. That's not the...
Yeah, sometimes when I'm prototyping, I'm just writing it out as it comes to my mind. But yeah, that's not proper development methodology. Don't get me wrong. So what are we seeing? Training manager. What is that? Can you see?
It handles training units, like you would expect. You tell the training manager units you want, and then it will build them. That's the way it works. Yeah, we're going to do that in a moment because we need to extend it, because now the training manager...
I like trains.
Oh, okay, that's nice. But we're not going to do that today, sorry. But that should not be.
My day is ruined and my sadness immeasurable.
But if Zurk works in the moment, can we then read them?
Yeah, that will be better.
This is for pool.
Jaegers asks, what are we doing right now? Well, I'm trolling, but BananaBrain is, or Johanna is implementing a Zurk for pool bot as an example.
Yes, adding Zurk capabilities to BananaBrain. So making use of the existing logic in my bot.
And apparently we can mostly do that via existing components in the bot.
Yes. Well, of course, very important. If you make something new, you should make sure that it actually gets called. So we make the Zurk strategy class. If you are Zurk. The other problem is this. What do we do with this? Can this default case actually occur?
I think that we can safely.
This is maybe a bit too safe, but yeah.
Well, you never know.
Never know. Error, what the hell are you doing?
Well, if you see this message...
Memory corruption.
If you see this message, then something is very wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe at this message...
Maybe it compiles, maybe it doesn't. Let's see.
If you see this message, then please send me all the logs you have, because I'm honestly curious, how did you manage that?
Oh, can you see the errors?
There seems to be a few problems, yes.
An infinite number of errors. Why? Why would it do this to me? What's going wrong? What is going on? No, something weird must be happening here.
Oh no.
Because it probably means that I forget completely confused now. So uh-oh. This always happens during a live stream.
Yeah.
That should not be there, but that's not a problem. No, it doesn't solve. The only thing that helps here is staring at the code very intensely. The viewers at home can help me with that. Because it's on screen.
Did you actually take a look at the actual errors or just?
Yeah, well, the errors are completely nonsensical.
Oh,
For example, the circuit strategy class contains explicit override of a method of a completely different file. So apparently that's why I thought there was a bracket. Because it apparently does not think that.
So sheets
class
went wrong, yo.
Yes, pretty much. Comment is out. What else? Yeah, well, it doesn't know zero strategy now. Okay, I get that.
It's refusing to acknowledge.
Really, stream constantly close.
Oh, hey, Antigua just joined the stream. Hey, Antigua. Long time no see.
Well, coding can be a lot of fun, but it isn't right. Okay. Now I'll just enable part of it. For example, string constants. Those should work.
Closing bracket. Let's see.
Yeah, seems to match.
Come on, Mr. Compiler, please work. Be nice.
And it's not fast.
Well, you have a tremendous amount of code by now, so it's understandable.
And if I change the header file, it has to compile all of it.
Oh no!
Yes. Yeah, I understand those errors. Those are the things I moved, which it can't find now.
Oh, okay. The joys of coding. Seems some kind of interface declaration is missing.
Yes, the ones that I commented out. I understand. No, we get this done. Okay, still not broken. Little break here. Oh, I see it. Missing column.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Apparently nobody chats on it.
Have you considered using an IDE?
Yeah, maybe I could use Visual Studio, but then I have to code on Windows.
Yeah, it's absolutely your choice, and I don't want to dictate that part.
Okay, and I don't want to code on Windows. So, yeah. That was an advantage when I was still working in Java. then I had IntelliJ.
IntelliJ is a
IntelliJ is
quite
good.
good idea, I think.
Yeah, it works just fine. I also use it for my for my Java programs that I use to make reports, for example, or run games, that kind of stuff, which are already showed.
Yeah. Well, I use it in my day job, so. Although I'm technically unemployed right now.
Oh, so you don't have it. This is your day job.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
I mean, as don't shed any tears for me, but that's technically the truth.
That's your own choice.
Yeah. It was my own choice. Not gonna go into details, but yeah, it was my choice. You know, I could just follow this up with begging for donations or something. I mean, many people do.
Yeah, sure. Still errors.
Bytekeeper, for a while, yes, I will focus on my blog and broodwar content, but eventually I will get a new job or something else. Now I just have a little bit of a break.
Nice. It's just reading Slav's remark. I don't want to code on Windows.
He's a little bit opinionated on operating systems.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But still, I'm working on macOS 10, of course. That's also not everybody's choice.
So maybe the compilation can be finished now.
There are more files to compile.
Eager anticipation intensifies.
Yes. No errors this time. The last file, it has to compile Zerg.
Wow, this is the moment of truth, Fox.
And no errors, at least. It's not yet done.
Bytekeeper says maybe the C++ compiler should not be written in Ruby. What?
Yes, quite slow indeed.
Okay. Oh,
No,
we are in action. And probably it will just make workers. So we have a working Zerg bot. Not a very well working one, but we have a Zerg bot.
It builds drones.
Yeah, and so...
To be honest, I did not expect that to happen.
Wow.
Because it should not be able to build any...
Alright then, let's build a spawning pool. Do you want to build a spawning pool? It doesn't have to be a spawning pool. Be glad that I'm not...
prefer it be a spawning pool. Because,
be glad that I'm not singing the actual song.
Why not? Would we then get blocks for copywriting?
Yeah, we have 10 viewers and don't want to lose them, so okay. We have to treasure them. So actually, what piece of code or how do you determine how much workers do you train at any given moment?
Well, if worker training is on, it will continue to train workers if there is enough supply and if it does not reach the maximum amount of workers. And the maximum amount of workers is determined by how many resource spots we have. And it's also hard limited to 70. We never get more than 70 workers. I believe that's a hard-coded constant somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We have to order it to build a spawning pool.
And
Here.
you have the capability to do that.
Probably not. I expect that it does not understand where to place it. Okay. Very easy and build a spawning pool here as well. Let's see if this compiles.
It literally can't even.
Nope. Again.
Yup.
What was the name? Okay, no. Manager.
So, do you use BWEM for building placement as well?
Nope.
Or what
Because it doesn't do building placement. You need the other one, web, for that.
Okay.
One with B at the end.
Oh yeah,
Web
all right.
only does terrain analysis.
All right.
But this is not right. So no, it's macro. Macro training manual. Let's train. How do I disable worker creation? Well, set worker production. Yes, it's a bit of a special build, of course. But you do not build too much workers. And you also have to tell it how many spawn. One will do, thank you.
Let's see. Jaeger's asked that doesn't BWEM also do some walls?
Yeah, I believe it does, but only Terran also.
Okay, let's see what we have.
Well,
yeah, that's
the default building placement assumes that you cannot build on Kree. but it does more than I expected. Nice.
Still works reasonably well, considering, yeah. So.
But now we have to edit one of the most complicated parts.
Yeah, we have to extend that with a parameter or something, right?
Yes, or maybe not. Because we now have, yes, lots of methods, I know. My source files are huge. At some point it will place other building. Yes, we can extend that. Because test building location. Yeah, it says here. And here.
Although the can build add-on will not be called for the Zergbot, right?
What will not be called for the Zergbot?
Can build add-on. Or is
It
it?
will be called, but it's always false. And that's exactly what we want.
Oh, yeah.
Just check if the thing can, well, because if it can build an add-on, keep the space clear to build the add-on, not build something else in place.
I see how it is.
Yeah, but for Zerg units, this will also always be false. So no problem there. We need to check if requires creep is interesting. Time position equals unit type requires creep. And here we need to do the same.
Can you open up the API specifications so we can take a look at that method?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. I thought it
That's
would be something more complicated.
Okay. So if it requires creep, it also wants to see creep. And if the unit does not require creep, this one should. But we have the wrong logic now. Because we need to know if we should not do it. Yeah. I expect it will now try to build the spawning pool.
Let's see. I don't see why not, although I usually use as many brackets as possible in a logical, in long evaluations.
Okay.
Makes, like, maybe that's just a personal coding style choice, but I find it easier to follow.
Minerals. I see a spawning pool.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't have to be a spawning pool, but it is.
Nice.
Okay, now we have a spawning pool. That's nice.
Okay, now
that.
Time for the Zergling boys.
Yes. But now we have to solve another riddle, because earlier it started building drones, and I don't know why.
Started or stopped building drones?
It started building drones. Well, I stopped it, because it should not. But how does this work?
Maybe you train worker units.
Can you order a hatchery? What happens if you give a hatchery a build, a train order? Will that work?
Apparently.
Programmed a Zergbot here, maybe in the chat.
Yeah, maybe.
Apparently that's that's what's happening. Apparently, I did not expect that. But this is problematic because I do not want to always make it. Sometimes I make something different. So we're going to change this. We're not going to do this for every resource. We're going to do this for Protons Nexus. Also going to do this for a Terran command center. Okay, I thought you had to order a larva too, but apparently you can also do it in another. You know, that's easier.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but now I change his behavior, it will also when I want to 5 pool. Let's test that. But it is going nicely because I expected
surprisingly so.
I expected more building placement problems, but this is not that bad. Okay, now there's the 5 pool, it builds the pool, but it does not build the extra drone. But that's okay for now. I'm going to tend to that later because first I want some. Okay. It will work a bit differently for the. As you can see here, you have a train distribution classes for each of the buildings, each of the production buildings for Zurk, for Terran and Protoss. For Zurk, this works differently because you have larva.
Yeah.
So add a larva train distribution and initialize it here.
Yeah, you basically have to have one monster method for every Zerg unit.
Okay. And now let's see how we go to train things. No, that's not it. I'm really going to hope this works. Just adding it here. But it might not, because larvae work in a different.
Well, let's just try it out.
What does it do? Can you? I mean, can you do this on a larva?
I believe.
Call train on a larva, or do you really have to call morph on the larva specifically? We could also just try it out.
Let's try it out. I can't answer that. And maybe you can call the train from the hatchery, but not from the larva.
Yes, that's also a possibility.
Would be logical, but that's not not a reason for anything to work.
Just let's try it out.
Yep.
Just do. The training manager should be accessible from outside of the class. Otherwise, we're not going to add anything to it. Training manager. More of a training distribution set.
And basically train as many as we can, right?
Yes, we'll never stop.
Although we are not. Are you training overlords, or do we add training overlords? No, just train Zerglings.
No, it does not know how to. So no, it's not going to train overlords. If we have, let's say, if we have 6 Zerglings, we will. That sounds reasonable, I think.
Yep.
It's true. And we'll remain here. We'll never do anything else.
Oh, and the anticipation again, whether it will compile or not.
Yeah. But why would it not? It's awesome code.
So far, so good. It's really hard to come up with something interesting to say during these compilation times, but What are you doing in the background?
Closing the curtains.
Oh.
Because it got even more dark outside.
Eagerly anticipating.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm using a different framework, but yeah, just training should work. And yeah, I code in Java, so bindings are sometimes a little bit different.
Okay. Someone suggested a 7-pool rush even. Is that better than 5-pool? I don't know. Might be too advanced for now.
Yeah, we are not really planning to do anything really efficient or or something like that.
No, I just want my servings. Oh, that trouble building. A larva was moving away, but can we? Yes.
Something
I
is
see
going on.
zerglings.
Yes. What are they doing?
There they go.
Oh,
They're going way too fast.
They have the zealot logic, right?
That's okay. Yeah. They would attack. Oh, they don't think they can win. Because the opponent has submarines. Now it can win.
The built-in.
Move in.
We just playing against the built-in AI, right?
Yeah. Yes, of course. We want to win, don't we?
Yeah. And we very well might be. We very well might be winning.
Now it sees the SCVs.
Although you don't train anymore, right? Just no. Reinforcements are arriving.
It will never stop training, but it will also make. So that's.
Then that means that we have a 4-pool bot.
Yes, they're not playing 5-pool yet.
We implemented a 4-pool bot in basically in an hour.
But
that's
I'll
awesome.
just speed it up. Speed it up again. Can we actually win? Oh yes, this is going nicely. Yes, it has no workers. But it has a fire bed. Oh, no, it's already dead. Okay, we still make a 5-pool. It still has to build a drone. So this worker production thing doesn't matter, because regular worker production does not work for...
or maybe add overlord
also,
logic.
yes, that's another thing we could do. And of course, make an additional hatchery. That is going to be very difficult, because it will not it does not understand macro hatchery yet, because you don't have macro nexuses and macro command center.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still have to think of a way to add that. Okay, it still needs to make the extra drone. We don't use this.
So what are we doing?
Well, I'm changing the 5-pool, so it actually...
Yeah, and you don't train any more workers, just if
only
there
one.
Maybe check the supply instead. How about that? So you don't plan to train any more workers, so if we are on supply, train an overlord. How about that logic?
Yes, I will be adding that in a moment. But I will make a drone here. Insert the drone. Okay. And also an overlord. I had some. I'm just going to steal the logic from my phone.
It's not stealing if you own that.
Well, it can be apparently. And no, I don't get that either. Yeah, look at my first bot ever. 4 pool. Or was it 5 pool? I don't know.
Yeah,
One
but
of the two.
the point is to show how it is done, not to just have one. Although it's awesome that we can just do this.
Shit, of course. We call it larva track distribution. Just found a little bug here. It should not matter yet. So
According to Dan, we are witnessing history. Yes. Small step for BananaBrain, but big step for what kind?
well, this is certainly not going to be the first bot that plays Zerg. Or that plays a 4 or 5 pool. So, what's we going to do here? Well, we check if we need it. And we use this nice for the supply camp.
And we can
No,
even.
we don't need that.
Yeah, we don't have anything like planning our trainings ahead, right? We just train it whenever. So we don't have a training queue at the moment.
No, we have what I call a training. And what it simply does is for each of the units, you give it a probability that unit for building. So if I say drone is, and I do not do anything, it will be certainly make a drone. But in other cases, you can make distributions, and those distributions are calculated. If you want to have a mix of multiple units, it calculates a distribution so that it is right for the ratio between mineral and gas that you're mining at the moment. But we don't have anything to do with that because we only have mineral gas. But that's basically how it works. And there's some mathematics behind it, which maybe I can show later in the cast. But no, there is no queue that takes the place of queue. Additional overload. That's a nice method. I probably will be changing this because I have some Spartan logic that is capable at looking at your current building, what you're currently building, and use that to estimate when you're going to need a new supply, so it can build it ahead of time. But in this case, we're just going to keep it simple and use this.
What is beautiful about this whole bot development thing that you can over-engineer very easily this kind of stuff, but you kind of have to. And
yes.
Even though you don't have perfect information, you have a pretty good guess about your income and when you can build what. Maybe not down to the exact frame, but down to the exact second, it is definitely possible. And like very high level pros can do that in human world, but I don't think anyone can say that I will build my gateway at exactly this second. And with the bot, you can do that.
Yeah, that might depend on how fast your minerals are coming in.
Yeah, but that, I mean, if you have a set amount of workers, there is a bit of randomness to it, but it evens out in the long run.
Yeah, well, if you want to build a specific number of units, then you will simply add it to the train distribution. And as soon as the number of units you want is reached, then you remove it from it. So every frame you check if you have the right amount of units. If no, keep it in the train distribution. Or
Let's see.
you do not tell the train distribution how much you want.
Let's see if we have overlords.
Or at least we have a spawning pool. We have the right number of drones.
Yeah. And Zerlings.
I'm missing something. Apparently we do not have Zerlings. It's too bad.
And we don't have overlords either.
We get nothing.
Let's check what went wrong.
Reverse logic.
Oh.
Especially we need it to happen true. Because true means it built an overload, and false means so we can build certainly.
This compiled much faster this time.
You can build it.
Oh. Oh, but it
well,
retries.
if I change a header file, it has to compile everything. It will only change that. But heavy.
And we have overload. Nice.
So now we probably win quicker because we can have more Zerglings.
Or we lose because this is not the optimal.
The opponent uses firebats. Firebats are kind of strong against Zerglings. So
yeah, if I say so myself. Well, anyway, the bot is working.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm very curious how it plays out because we have a lot of firebats are very effective against Zerglings apparently.
Well, at this point it could use a second hatch to
yeah, definitely you could.
Zerglings. But that's kind of difficult to do now, I think. How do you know when you can build the second hatch? I don't know that.
Okay,
that's one question.
Do you want to implement that as well?
Well, if you're going to implement it, it will be a hatchery.
Yeah, I mean adding a hatchery. I think this is a fine point to stop, but I have time. I don't know how tired you are.
Well, not that much. Oh, well, we're losing, unfortunately. This, by the way, also doesn't work too well on 3 or 4 player maps because we have no real scouting. And we can make so that it plays against something else. But
still, this bot will win games. Maybe not all, not a lot of them, but yeah. This is a quite large map, so the rush distance is not really beneficial for us.
I'm just going to reset it to tell it to only play on 2-player maps against any race. Let's see what. Yeah, indeed. The spawning pool is probably too close to the hatch. But of course, the building planner does not really know that much about Zerg. So it does not know that much about smart building choices for Zerg.
Yeah, it just places it in the first available spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have Protoss. Let's see.
Protoss has Zerglings. That's unfortunate.
Cowardly Zerglings.
Yeah, but they could move to the probes and then try to evade the Zealots. Also, fleeing is a lot slower than moving ahead.
Yeah, it very clear that the speed upgrade is in dire need. Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
it's not too slow, but it is a noticeable change in pace.
I have a feeling that we won't win this one.
It doesn't look like it. But yeah. That's what you get for playing 4-pool.
Yeah, it's not a very good strategy in general, but still, that's not the point here. And I think this is the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Of course, it doesn't build a sunken colony.
Yeah. Okay, shall we add something else to it?
Yeah. Do you have an idea? What should we add? Capability to win? Oh, with Zerg versus Zerg. That's easier.
It seems that we have just one.
Nice.
Let's try an in-base sunken colony. No, that's too complicated. Although...
Or Zerglings that don't get stuck.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be a nice addition.
I think what I would continue this is a proper Zerg building placement, but that's a little bit longer and might not be that interesting. But we can think about that. Or just try to implement something else. It seems that your...
Where would you place the spawning pool? Because there is also something like the optimal placement.
How the hell did those Zerglings get there? What the fuck?
Well, they got out of their eggs directly below the hatchery.
They are taking a bath in the spawning pool.
Clearly.
Yeah, that's why you have a pool. And yeah, Jaegers asks how the combat sim works in BananaBrain.
Well, I would say very poorly.
Yeah, but we cover
at this moment.
kind of covered that before.
Yeah. See, it really has trouble placing the spawning pool, so this should be better.
Yeah, maybe just keep in mind the larva. And again, that Zergling gets stuck.
Yeah, we're going to see this a lot.
It's awesome. So-called emergent gameplay. It literally taking a little tip tap in the spawning pool.
Yes.
Well, you saw it here first.
This is the way bourgeois development goes.
And they are... What the hell?
Everybody has this, right? These kind of moments.
You can't do this on purpose. You literally can't. And
no, you can't do this. Can't make this up.
And what is even better, that we are reproducing this consistently.
Okay. So I think we should indeed
Indeed, what?
reposition the spawning pool.
Yes, that might be. That might be a good idea.
But question, how? Where do we place it?
Let's take a look at the building placement logic, and I think we can safely estimate or safely can get the possible tiles that larvae might frequent. So maybe have a safety area around the hatchery.
Why not just look around the hatchery or something?
Yeah, or just have a one tile room, or maybe not, because larvae can only be on certain sides of the hatchery. I think they can't go to the left and to top from the hatchery. So maybe one tile away, one walk tile away from the hatchery to the bottom and to the right.
Below the hatchery, maybe. Yeah. I wanted to use some specific building placement for spawning pool instead of using the generic algorithm.
Yeah,
That would
sounds
probably
good.
make the most sense at this moment. So I'm going to use a tile grid to indicate where we cannot build units.
What's the logic you are thinking of? What are you implementing?
Well, at the very least, not too close to the hatchery. At the very least. So,
You have some methods ready to use, I see.
yes, for this is for specific building placements, proxies and whatever. But probably you can use it for a Zerg as well.
Maybe you really just need to exclude some area. I don't know. Yeah, you're using your own code, so I can't really comment on that, unfortunately.
Insert.
Insert resource location. That seems obvious what it does. What does the other two methods do? Unbuildable non-area location. That sounds a little bit weird. So we are working with the BWEM area objects, it seems to me.
Yeah, I use that.
What does that represent?
Okay, the start location. This will make sure that you cannot build on, and you can also not build on places outside of your start area.
I see.
Not that it should be a problem. You cannot build where another building, and also not on existing resource. Minerals, geysers. But I thought there was some kind of optimal position to place your spawning when you're doing a 4 pool or 5 pool. I thought I read that somewhere, but I don't know.
Do we have that? I don't know. Basically, you the two things. I think it should be not in the way of the Zerglings exiting the base, right? They don't.
Okay, maybe I'm just making it too complex. Let's make it simpler. Just add something to the standard building placer. So
let me look that up.
Understands that it should not build it too close. Surface location.
Well, depends if you want to do a walling at this stage.
No, I'm not going to do any walling yet. So just if you keep the tiles beneath the hatchery clear, then we should be okay, I think. So I think if resource depot, one that belongs to the Zerg.
Well, I'm trying to look up optimal spawning pool locations, but mostly they are just concerned about walling. And I found a post called "Why ZVZ is so degenerate." Okay, thank you Google. Yeah, just have some kind of wiggle room.
Insert building location. I need that. How does it work?
What are you thinking? What's your plan?
Just trying to find something.
So looking if did I already wrote something useful. Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yes. Reference. Okay. So we're going to set unit tile position plus x should actually be called dx because it's relative. Set it to true because it's blocked. Okay. It should be resolved now.
Let's see.
And what this means is we'll just refuse to place any building directly below a hatchery or lair or hive. I made it general like that.
Let's see.
No, spawning pool is now next to the.
But it's not below, and no more Zergling bat.
No, that was funny for a while, but now.
Yeah, definitely will make a clip about that.
Oh, is it going to win anyway this time?
I'd say so.
Well, apparently the Zerglings are actually attacking.
Nice.
That helps. That's
nice, nice, very nice. And same position. I think it will always put it there.
Yeah.
Kind of deterministic
Well, that
at
works.
this point. Yeah.
We're not blocking ourselves now, so that's.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. I don't know. What's your? Yeah, I need a little bit of break, and
How much?
5 minutes.
How much? 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's nice. During these 5 minutes, I will keep this running. And
okay, feel free.
How many games it can win from the built-in AI?
Yeah. I mean, you can do what you do. Just I'm away for 5 minutes. Be back in a second.
Okay. Okay. Well, it won 4 games, at least now. But will it win more? I don't know. Oh, it has a bunker. That's too bad. Nope, I'm not going to win this one.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, those were some fast 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's different type of 5 minutes. So what we can do, first of all, I was thinking maybe, yeah, you are making too many overlords, it seems to me. Probably because you only check the supply for the overlord and not if another overlord is already in progress.
Yes, but to know if something is in progress, we need to look inside of the eggs, because it doesn't work in the same way for Terran and Protoss, I believe.
Do you want to add that code?
Well, it is possible that I still have that code.
Let's find out.
I already told about random bot, and I can look at the source of that because I already found now and then, because that bot also could play Zerg somewhat. So might have logic for counting the amount of units. Does it have that? Here. This right here.
Seems like
Needs
something
to
we
move
can
that.
use.
Yeah. At least this way the counter understands the amount of overlords we have potentially. In BananaBrain also. Back. Yes, it has changed a lot over the years, but not everything has changed. Some things are still the same. Yeah. Okay. If let's also support lurker egg. And also cuckoo.
I'm not sure about that, lurker egg. But maybe you're speaking from experience.
Yeah, the code was there.
Yeah, Zerg is wacky.
Yeah. We add one to the unit count of the unit that we actually expect to get from the app. Like this. It can never be completed, because then it would actually be the unit and no longer an egg. So but we already have some logic here to determine when we add another pylon or a supply depot. And I think the overload logic should work in a comparable way. But it should not be in the building then, because an overload obviously is.
It is not a building indeed.
So I could of course copy paste some of the logic here, but on the other hand, let's keep it simple for now, because there are some differences, of course.
Do you know the saying, who copies loses?
What do you lose then?
No, it's
Your sanity?
yeah. No, it's
I don't get it, I guess.
It's a German saying apparently, "Hol kopiert felért," and it means that if you copy paste code, you usually screw up something. Well, not just code, but we said that a lot in my workplace. Not
But
really
did you do
applicable
a lot
here.
of copy paste?
Hmm?
Did you do a lot of copy pasting there?
Well, I did a few copy paste which resulted in errors because I didn't change one variable or two, and every time someone did that, we got a told you so points on our accounts.
Okay. Yeah. In this case, race will just be Zerg. Yeah. So replace this by raises. Yeah. Zerg gets supplied provider. Could just say, oh,
Why do you use
this one is
why do you use doubles for supply?
because it's the amount of supply per.
Oh, I see. It's a supply per. Okay, makes
It
sense.
might not be a whole number.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. What we do not have to do anymore is take into account that the worker has to move to a building spot, because you don't have any of that when just work. Where do we use the supply bill? Lots of places.
It's interesting. I like how you approach this supply management. I would take on a sort of a predictive approach rather than that, and try to
Yeah.
make up conditions when I should make an overlord. But yeah, this.
Yes, it actually calculates using the training distributions.
Yeah.
To calculate how much the supply will be increasing over the coming time. But there is a problem because the spending manager, the part that does these calculations, it does. I think it has no Zerg support yet, so we need to add it. And there is also no need for a separate worker supply because we make everything. So that's going to be gone as well. Supply bill. Use anything like building count? No. So this variable, the supply building shortage, actually stands for the amount of we should add. Of course, taking into account the amount of overloads that are already in progress.
Yeah, because yeah, you don't do that yet.
So what do we do here? Well, we look at unit count. Of if it's smaller than the amount of overloads we already have, plus the amount of extra that we need. If you get here, then we need to make an otherwise we don't. So we're going to do we just override what the strategy wants us to do and build an overlord instead. Yes. Using a variable for only a constant is a bit nonsensical, so we're not going to do that.
Do you have that info, these variables displayed on the screen? Or some of them?
Which variables do we need?
Well, anything related to supply calculation.
Believe this is it. You don't
Sorry?
have more.
You have a lot of debug messages when the game is running, and I was curious if...
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it has the supply thing, but we still have to fix that, because now it will be 0, because it doesn't take circuit into account.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I wrote some extra code now, and I place it somewhere. Of course, you should be able to enable and disable this automatic supply functionality, because it may not always be especially when you're what do I want to say? If you're doing an opening and you want to decide yourself when to do it automatically, then that should still be possible. So that's why I have a Boolean flag for that. Move this code to the appropriate place. Somewhere here.
Find it hard to add anything right now. I'm just following your train of thought, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I know my code, of course, and I'm going from one.
Yeah.
Understand. I understand it can be difficult to follow. Yeah. But in a moment we'll see the results. Hopefully. I think.
Yeah.
It's doing enough now. This is yeah, I guess we have to make it public. Call the overload training. Yeah, I thought about the spending manager. Yes. Well, you can see the problem here. We have Protoss, we have Terran.
I propose renaming the spending manager to Janet from accounting.
Nice idea, but nah.
You always shut down my smart ideas. I'm so
Sorry.
disappointed.
Okay. Yeah. This is going to be more difficult.
Sorry to ruin your fun, but we have 15 minutes left, and I thought about a little. Let's give people a chance to watch the SSCIT broadcast. And I don't want to infringe on their time
yeah,
slot.
that's fine. I'm not going to get it done.
Yeah, just...
This is a difficult thing to get this done right.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think I learned a lot about BananaBrain, and this was an awesome session. Although in the end I was a little bit had a little bit trouble following your code, but that's understandable. Understandable because you have a quite large code base. Although implementing the for pool in basically 1 hour, it's just awesome. And if you don't mind, I'd like to announce the end of the stream here. It is a good point. Yeah. And well, thank you for participating. I hope we can do this again. And thanks thanks everyone for tuning in and watching. And thank you, Dad, for the smart comments.
Okay, yes, thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, and
we might do this again, or with someone else. I don't know if you have any people standing in line.
Well, this was absolutely an experimental thing. I didn't know how it would turn out, but I would like to do this again. Although finding the time slot will be a little bit difficult, because even though I am not working right now, that might change, and well, other people have jobs. But in any case, thanks again, and see you next time. I'm stopping the stream now.
Okay.